everybody, Gary here with Guitar Tricks, and in this video I want to share with you a classic country double stop move that you could do over any major chord. So in the intro we were in the key of G. I played the three major chords G, C, and D, and I did the same exact move on each chord, but I used three different chord shapes. So if you're familiar with Cage, the three different shapes I used were the E shape, the A shape, and the D shape. So I'm going to show you how to play the same lick over those three chord shapes, but you could use it on any major chord you happen to be playing in any of those three shapes. So it's just a classic double stop walk up. There's lots we could do with it, but this is just kind of the foundation. Before we get into it, please go ahead and click subscribe so that you get all of the latest and greatest content from Guitar Tricks. And if you want to be notified of any new lesson, be sure to also tap the bell and let us know in the comments what you'd like to see in future lessons. That's where we're always looking for ideas. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so the whole idea is, let's say, we have this G chord, and this is a G in the E shape. So this is why it's called the E shape. Here's an E. Now imagine you played that E without your index finger, and your index finger was the nut, and then you just move that up to G. So we call that the E shape. Now, the root of that chord is on the high E string, one of the roots, and then the third of the chord is on the G string. So I'm just going to play the root and the third. Now that implies the chord G major, but it leaves enough space that you could use it as part of a single note run, or as a way to imply the chord. So it kind of blurs the line between like a lead thing and a chord thing, right? So what we're going to do here, we're going to start over the G chord. We're just going to isolate that root and the major third, middle finger on that fourth fret of the G string, index finger on that third fret of the E string, high E string. But now we walk it up, and whenever we have a major key, the second chord is minor. So what ends up happening is we have G and then we have A, and we put the minor third of the A. So that would be like this chord, A minor in the E minor shape. So we're going to play the root on the fifth fret of the high E string, or string 1, counting toes to nose, and then the third on the same fret, up 2 strings on string 3. Fingering wise, I'm going to go ring finger on the high E, or string 1, and then I'm going to go middle finger on string 3. So here we had index middle, and here we have ring middle. See how easy that is? Just that fingering really helps. Okay, now we add a chromatic passing tone, which just means go up 1 fret. And then where we end up is back at the G chord, but now in a different shape. This is the D shape of a G chord. So we're really just going G and then back to G. So it's a way to get from like one G to the next G. But here we have root and third, and here we have third and fifth. This is the root G, this is the third B, and then when we work our way up to here, this is the third B, and this is the fifth D. So that's just also just one great way to work your way up to another chord voicing. Cool. So, nice. Now, anytime you're on a chord like that, you could do that. So let's say I played G, and then I played the 4 chord C here, same shape though, E shape, and then I can go, right? So I could do the same thing. Then I get to D. But we don't want to have to move all over the neck to play 3 chords. So from this G, a natural C chord, the 4 chord, would be this C. Now, here we have the third out of this A shape. We call it the A shape because imagine we're like an A, but your index finger is the nut. And now we're going to move that to a C. Now in this chord, here's the third, and here's the root. 1, 3. So same two notes, but flipped, right? In this example, root was the higher note, but in this example, the third's the higher note. And now think after the C, we have a D minor. Right? If we think of C as like the tonic of the key, even though it's the 4 chord, we're going to like kind of temporarily treat it like the tonic. The 2 chord of C is D minor. So we're going to go, see that? So we bar these two on the 5th fret, strings 2 and 3, counting toes to nose with the index finger. Then we go 2nd finger on the 6th fret of the 2nd string, and 3rd finger or ring finger on the 7th fret of the G string. So, and then again, walk it up chromatically. Now when we get here, we're really in this C, back in the E shape. So it's really like, see that? Cool. Now on the D, right, so I went G, and then I went C, and then I went D over here. That's the 5 chord. But again, we're going to temporarily kind of treat it like home, like the 1 chord. And with any 1 chord that's major in a major key, here we have root and major 3rd on the high E string, root on the B string, and I'm going to play that with my 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of string 2, and then index finger on the major 3rd, which is on 2nd fret of string 1 or the high E string. But then what's the 2 chord of D would be E minor, and as you can see there, root minor 3rd. So we go from them being right next to each other to having a fret in between. So again, walk it up chromatically. And then that brings us to this shape of the D chord. So we go from this D to this D. So, cool. So we went from this G to this G, then we went from this C to this C, and then we went from this D to this D, or so we're walking kind of between chord voicings, but we're only playing roots and thirds or roots and fifths, just 1, 2 notes of the chord, but starting on the root and the 3rd. So if I just play those double stops, 1, 2, 3, 4, G, G, now C, C, D, back to G. Awesome. And here it is again with the looper and a little bit of overdrive. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this transcends genres of music. You know, think of the great Brown Eyed Girl, right? I'm not going to play it, but the intro to Brown Eyed Girl, that's this concept. The only thing is it doesn't add the chromatic passing note. So you don't have to go, you can get rid of that chromatic note and just go, right? So instead of that chromatic, it's just, sounds a little less country or a little less bluesy maybe. Then on this one, we'll get rid of the chromatic passing note. And then on this one, awesome. So have fun trying to incorporate that into your playing. Try it in any genre, any style, you know, see how it sounds. And yeah, just another tool to add to your toolbox. If you want to learn more about playing guitar, head over to guitartricks.com. There's sequential courses on different genres like rock, country, and blues. There's a library of high-quality song lessons with multiple videos per lesson, jam tracks, and downloadable tab. Happy playing, and I'll see you in the next lesson.